Welcome to the Naughty Child podcast. With me, Richard.
And me, Polly.
I'm the dad.
And I'm the daughter.
And this is Today at the Cricket.
Home Commonwealth games in their home city at their home ground.
I'd still take a Commonwealth gold.
It's pushing me on a little bit further. It's just, I've kind of tasted what it's like, and I just want to keep it going now.
Our Māori culture is massive as part of our sports identity, and that's something with the New Zealand Commonwealth Games team that's really been brought in, and it's really different probably for the White Ferns girls.
The potential to play in a Commonwealth.
I think for us, we've sort of talked about as a team being part of a wider national team.
That would be one of the highlights of my career.
It's definitely something that we're all looking forward to. I know it's a different environment. It's not, the way we used to tours.
But we're going to Birmingham and we're part of the New Zealand team. We're not the White Ferns, we're the New Zealand T20 cricket team.
So, Polly, today has been Saturday, 30th of July, and we've had two cricket games today at the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, we had in the morning New Zealand versus South Africa, and then just finished now we had England versus Sri Lanka.
So let's start by talking about New Zealand against South Africa.
Yeah, so kind of heading into this, I knew it would be a good matchup. I think obviously South Africa really struggled with their time in England, but you would say also New Zealand, they haven't had many games behind them. They've had a couple of warm-up games against England Day down at Millfield School, but other than that, they haven't had much preparation. So I think South Africa, although they haven't performed well in England, they have that slight upper hand of just game time. But as we can see, that wasn't a hindrance for New Zealand at all, really.
And of course, it's a crucial game within the group because England are clear favourites to progress. Sri Lanka are severe underdogs. So one of these two teams is likely to progress with England.
Yeah.
So whoever wins this game is in the pole position to do that.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen in past World Cups, and that comes to be is the trend in women's cricket, that it's either South Africa or New Zealand that progress to semi-finals. I think right now I would say New Zealand. I think South Africa are just, I don't want to say they're getting worse, but it just seems like as their time in England goes on, it's getting harder for them.
It feels like things are falling apart slightly, or fraying at the edges at least for them. But New Zealand batted first. Yeah. And they have quite a good opening partnership, don't they?
Yeah. Sophie Devine and Susie Bates, two of the most experienced cricketers in the world, opening for New Zealand. And we saw in an England Day game how destructive they can be. And Devine got 48, so almost half century. Then Susie Bates, who at the start was quite slow and it was more Devine that was being the attacking batter, ended up with 91 from 64, which was just an incredible innings.
The innings of the tournament so far, and unlikely to be bettered, I think, strike rate of 142, really, really amazing innings. So they put on 99 for the first wicket, and that used up the first 13 overs. And then Amelia Kerr came in and again played aggressively alongside Bates, who upped her game massively. Friend of the pod, by the way, Susie Bates. And so they posted 167 for two. Kerr was run out, wasn't she, off the last ball? Yeah. Which was a very, very challenging total for South Africa. Yeah,
and I think it would have been their second highest run chase if they'd chased it down. So, yeah, and the South African bowlers really struggled, and we can see that in terms of their economy. And Kaka, who had been really good previously, actually went for 44 off her 4 overs, which is not what you want one of your best bowlers to be doing, really.
Yeah, so Chloe Tryon was the exception to that. So she is 0 for 20 from her 4. So she was, nicely economical. But yes, the rest went for quite a lot of runs, didn't they?
Yeah, and then South Africa came on, and it would be fair to say they had a bit of a collapse. Sophie Devine picked up 3 wickets, which I thought was good. And, captain leading from the front, we always talk about it. But yeah, I don't know why it just isn't clicking with South Africa. I mean, I was very impressed with Sonelis, who has not batted well at all for the last however many months, and then gets 32 from 18. So I was quite shocked by that.
Well, the issue is that she ran out.
Yeah.
Chloe Tryon. And so Chloe Tryon had got 39 from 17. And at that moment, it was looking like, actually, South Africa could chase this down. They seriously could. And they were, piling on the runs. New Zealand's bowlers were looking a little bit clueless. And it was a case of, if Sonelis and Chloe Tryon can just stay together for the next 3 or 4 overs, then they'll have chased this down. But there was a mix-up, and Sonelis sent Chloe Tryon back in order to be run out.
Yeah.
And from that point on, actually Sonelis then played really, really well, but it was actually too late. She didn't have the partnerships there. So in the end, they ended up about 12 runs short of what they needed. So a real shame for them. They've got some really good players. And you've got Mignon du Preez and Laura Woolvart, both got really good start, but didn't quite move on from it, got themselves out. It's a shame, and it just feels like things are not quite right with South Africa at the moment. In the field as well, catches were going down. They weren't chasing things around the boundary properly. It looked messy. It looked bad.
And this is the thing, and there was Shabnam Ismail was fielding on the boundary, and she wasn't diving to stop the ball. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, she should dive." And some people were like, "Oh, but she's got a back injury, and if she dives, then she might be out of it." Well, then don't put her there. Don't put her in a place where she's going to kind of have to constantly dive. So it's very strange captaincy, I think, from Sonelis. And even she was fielding on the boundary. That's not really what a captain does.
She seems really detached from the team. And someone like Chloe Tryon, who stepped in for her as captain at Derby, didn't she? And was a lot more animated and motivated. And South Africa seemed a better team for it. And this is not a criticism of Lisa, because it's a personality thing as much as anything else. But actually, you're put into that position of leadership. You need to lead people. And it just feels like that's not really happening.
Yeah, it was a bit strange to watch. I mean, it'll be interesting to see kind of what it's like in person, because I think you get a better flavour of what's happening there. But yeah, all a bit strange. But anyway, on to England and Sri Lanka.
So yes, of course, England are expected to win this quite easily. In fact, in advance of this, you went on a live stream preview programme that an Indian production company were putting out on YouTube. And they were asking you what your thoughts were about what would happen.
I don't know how I managed to get through that whole thing without having to pronounce the Sri Lankan player's name. But no, I thought it was very good.
Yes, but I guess your view was that England would easily win it. But you were very polite and sort of said, you thought Sri Lanka will have a really good go.
I mean, I'm really glad I was ultra polite, because I think I could have been a bit overconfident. Yeah, England are going to absolutely smash Sri Lanka. It's going to be easy, all this stuff. But it actually wasn't in the end. I don't think it'd be fair to say. So
I guess what I didn't know anything about Sri Lanka in advance of the game. I knew Tapatu's name, and that was it, really. But what I got from that game is that Sri Lanka have got some really good bowlers. They just really don't have very many good batters.
And this is what people were saying before. So on the stream there was a lady from Sri Lanka, and she knew the team. I think both her parents played for Sri Lanka, so she knew a lot about it. And she was saying, that their bowling attack is much stronger than their batting. I was like, maybe you're just being nice. But I was like, whoa, they've got a lot of really good spinners here. And that's something that no other team, I don't think, has to the same extent.
And it's interesting as well, they seemed a lot more comfortable facing spin as well. And so, when Izzy Wong came on, they really struggled. And the same with Catherine Brunt as well, couldn't really score many runs from her at all. And Freya Kemp came on and took a couple of wickets quite quickly as well. So it's yes, I guess the other teams will have looked at that and will have got quite a lot on how to beat Sri Lanka. But I was really pleased with the way Sri Lanka played and the pressure they put on England. So Sri Lanka won the toss, decided to bat, and they posted 106 for 9. Is that right? Yeah, 106 for 9 in their 20 overs. So just over 5 and over. I mean, not very challenging. You know, you'd expect England to chase down anything below 150, really. Or before this game, I would have.
Yeah. I think we need to talk about the bowling a bit from England, because it was extremely impressive from Brunt, Wong, Kemp in particular. I mean, Catherine Brunt, in her 100th T20, she got 1 for 8, which is just incredible.
And that one was the very first delivery, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Izzy Wong, a double wicket maiden. I mean, I said before, you know, she'll be fine at this ground. This is like her home ground. She knows it really well. I wasn't thinking she'd be that fine, but no, she got 2 amazing wickets, and yeah, Freya Kemp as well. Just I think I realised this halfway through the game. I was like, this is the biggest crowd she has ever played in front of, because she wasn't in the 100 last year. I was like, that's a kind of a big deal.
But she's fearless, and you know, the England strategy is to put the kids in, and let them get on with it. And you know, I'm struggling to see how Kate Cross is going to play at all in the Commonwealth Games. Yeah, based on what we've seen today, you know, you know, it seems to me that these young players were the key to the victory today. Yeah, especially you'd say in the batting as well. Just quickly mention Sophie Ecclestone's 3 wickets as well. Sophie Ecclestone doing regular Sophie Ecclestone things, really. So not much to discuss. We almost take it for granted that she's going to get at least 2 wickets.
This is the thing. I was like, do you think she just turns up and like counts how many wickets she thinks she's going to get? Because she will guarantee get a wicket.
Although she does win the award, I think, for the most embarrassed celebration at getting a wicket.
Oh yeah, very true. On to the batting.
Well, it was not massively impressive, I think it's fair to say. So Danny Wyatt was out for 5. Sophia Dunkley followed after scoring 17. And Nat Siver also got 17, was out LBW. And then so suddenly, we're 57 for 3. And, you know, things are looking decidedly difficult when Amy Jones comes in. Amy Jones hasn't had an awful lot of form recently, and she's out for 3. So there we are, 63 for 4 after 10 overs. And actually, we could end up. It never looked like we were going to lose,
but it was
not
a bit worrying, especially because this was supposed to be our most comfortable game. Yeah, and you think, the batting's going a little bit wrong here after the incredible batting against South Africa in the series just before.
However, Alice Capsey and Maya Bouchier. Now, it's interesting, when we talked to Maddie Green last week, those are the 2 names we mentioned as young England players to watch out for emerging in this tournament. And I just thought that was such maturity from both of them. There's a lot of focus on Capsey, of course, because of her age. But, you know, Maya Bouchier, in terms of international experience...
Yeah, she's played 7 games. So... still very new to the international stage, but she always looks so comfortable. And I mean, she was remarkable in the field today. I thought her and Sophia Dunkley were especially really good. But again, with batting, I just thought she knew what she was doing. She communicated well with Alice Capsey. They clearly, I mean, they had time.
They've both been on our podcast.
So they've got that joint bond. So they
something
could be
to talk about.
Exactly. It doesn't make it awkward. I'm sure that is the first thing that they discussed. But no, I thought both played really well. Also, Alice Capsey with a massive black eye.
She looks so mean.
I know. Maybe that was the way she like intimidated Sri Lanka.
She looked like the kid from the wrong part of town. Don't mess with me.
She's definitely the kid from the right part of town, I can tell you that.
She's from a farm. It's not from a town at all.
From the middle of nowhere. But no, Alice Capsey played really well, 44 from 45, and then Maya Bouchier 21 from 18. I thought that Capsey might have been able to get her half century. there was slight possibility she could, but for the greater good of the team, well, she got out. So.
She got out, yeah.
Well, I think she was trying to whack it for 6, which would bring up half century and win the game, but it didn't work, and she got stumped. So it's fine though. And Eccleston came out, didn't face the ball, and England won the game.
Yeah, Maya Bouchier knocked a 4 to win it, and it was comfortable. 3 overs to spare, won by 5 wickets, comfortable, but
there are concerns, I think.
Well, things to learn, and
things
take
to look
from
at. That I don't think England would have been fully satisfied with that batting performance in particular. Yeah, we look to tomorrow. We've got 2 more games.
Well, we're attending one of them, aren't we? I'm so excited about this.
India-Pakistan is... I feel like this is going to be one of the best games I see, just in terms of atmosphere. I'm very excited. And I think Edgbaston is like the best place to host it.
It is, yeah. So at my school, the majority of the girls that I teach are Pakistani background, and they all, a huge number of them live right by Edgbaston Cricket Ground. So I'm wondering if we might bump into some of my pupils and their families, which would be amazing.
That'll be funny. The question is, who are we supporting? I know who I'm supporting.
Well, when my pupils asked me, I said anyone but India, unless India are playing Australia.
Yeah.
I think it would be amazing if Pakistan did really, really well.
I would love it.
But I can't imagine that they're going to beat India. No.
Well, see, I don't think they're going to beat India, but I'm supporting Pakistan all the way. Okay. I mean, I love Pakistan now. Bismar Maroof is like my favourite person. Also, like just that whole team, seeing them play the other day, I was like, I like this team. So I think I'm going to support
Jamima Rodriguez is my favourite person.
Obviously,
so
yeah,
I'm going to support India.
What? No, I think I'm going to support Pakistan. I love an underdog story because I'm usually the underdog.
Genuinely, and this, I think, for supporters of either side, this will bewilder them. But I really, genuinely don't mind.
Yeah, this thing I don't mind, but like, I don't know.
Underdog.
Yeah, underdog. Yeah, we love an underdog story, so we'll see. But that's definitely going to be a great game. And then Australia take on Barbados in the evening. Which, I mean, again, you can kind of imagine who's going to win. But it'll be great to see how Barbados play against Australia and play against a much bigger side than Pakistan, who they faced first. So it'll be very interesting to see.
So we're going to have to try and watch that game and watch the Lionesses.
Oh, no, forget that. I'm watching the Lionesses, sorry. Betraying cricket for a bit. No, I prefer Lee Williamson. Sorry, Hayley Matthews. Gonna just like park cricket for a bit. But no, the Lionesses will be on TV, and I have a quick glance at my phone now and then check the cricket. So, how are we gonna like record? If there's no episode out tomorrow, it's because England have won, and I am like,
you'll have no voice.
I'll have no voice. I don't know where I'll be. I'll be celebrating.
We shall see. England will lose on penalties, by the way.
Don't say for that. But we will probably be back tomorrow reviewing the cricket from day 3.
Yes, so if you want to follow us on social media.
You can follow us on Instagram, which is North Child Podcast, and on Twitter, which is OO Child Podcast. And we tweet regularly about the cricket that's going on. So if you want a quicker update, then you can follow us on there.